People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, our young players, a couple of them have actually been playing in the Montaigu tournament. I can never say that, but the French tournament in France. But we've actually had a couple of interesting weeks. Now, sadly, we'll start with our under 15s, I believe that's their age group. They won the JSSL 7-a-side tournament in Singapore, and I think that's the second year running they've won it. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Just a couple of words on them. I feel, obviously, it's 7-a-side, so you can't see much, but I saw some very decent players. Again, it's difficult to get their names and stuff, but is it Kylon Edwards? He was decent, scored a couple of goals. I think Moro, he has an afro. He was he was probably the most player I took a shine to. I was liking what he was doing in the middle of the park and some of his technical abilities. I feel, who else was there? There was more. So I've said Moro. There was obviously forgot who I said at the beginning now, but I said them. Who else was there? Malcolm Elowabi, I think he's finishing. I don't know how he didn't score some of them chances, but I feel he's very silky with the way he beats men and gets past them and things like that. Kylon Edwards, that's who I was talking about. But back to Elowabi, I think he's a very promising and positive player, and I think he's actually under 15s now, 16s next year, or he might be under 16s now. I don't know, admittedly, people, because I'm not working there. I think he's actually under 15s, but he's a player I've made a couple of vids on, and I really, really like him. I've seen a bit of him, and I think he's a player to watch, and it was nice to see these players in different circumstances in 7-a-side, and to be fair, they did all right, man. Obviously, there was more players out. There was a guy who looks exactly like McGuinness at under 18s level, but playing in this. I don't know his name. Forgive me, centre half. But he was quality. I feel Omari Hutchinson as well was quality as well. I mean, very small and nimble player, very positive, does things quick. You'll all know him because you all see, you've all probably typed his name on Google and seen him hitting free kicks and doing positive things on YouTube. He's a very decent player. I think he's technically under 15, so he'll be pushing for a scholar next year. I think he'll get one on the basis of, the man's sponsored by Puma, so surely he's going to get one. He's been pushing in regards to England. I know he was on the England's, was it under 16s or under 15s? One of them. He was on the standby list for it, so he's pushing for that. Of course, these are not indicators you're going to be a professional footballer, but I think he's very promising. Seen him play in a couple of positions. He played in a couple of different roles in midfield, but I really like him, and I don't know, man. For a small guy, he's decent with his back to goal. I think especially because 7-a-side, there's less space, so you need to do things quick, and it very much works with how Arsenal train these players and how these players have come up. And I feel Omari was a baller in that regards, man. I feel Moro, like I said, man, I really took a shine to him. And there was a whole bunch of other players, but I don't know their names, people. So it was nice to see our under 15s, which I believe it was their age group, win that. It's a good experience. Obviously, they've gone to Singapore. They're seeing what it's about as being professional footballers. They're seeing the amount of crowds that are going to come watch, dealing with possible different temperatures, different time zones, being away from family, travelling times, because to get to Singapore must be a madness. You're touching like Australia and them sides there, so it's a madness, double digits hour flight, so they've got to mentally prepare for that. And we also remember, on top of all the points I said, they've got to adapt. They're playing tournament football, so the games are coming thick and fast. Again, it's a long way away, but if these players have ambitions to kick on for England and play at World Cups, you can imagine how these sort of experiences can help you. And it's just good for the young players to, for me anyways, whether they become professional footballers or not, they've seen a part of the world. Like, a lot of them probably come from inner city London, their parents working 2 jobs or whatever, possibly a massive struggle taking their kids 3 times, sometimes 4 times a week to train and be there. So if nothing more, and they don't become professional footballers and get scholarships and kick on and things, at least they can say they've gone to Singapore. How many young ethnic minority kids and disadvantaged kids and just inner city London kids away from race and things can say they've been to Singapore or have any plans or can go to Singapore? So it's a lovely experience for these players, man, really and truly. And I really like how the club bring the young players and do these sort of tournaments with them, because they go to a whole bunch of tournaments in Europe, but that's another scale, Asia, man. So that's that. Dallas Cup, unfortunately, we didn't win it. I think we've played 3 games. I've only seen 3 games. Cannot remember who we played first. I think it was Monterrey. Definitely, what was it? It was Real Salt Lake first. Kiddo Hart-Taylor played quite well in that game. And it was also, we played Toronto. That game was very enjoyable. Now, We didn't win the tournament. We're out. To have context, our next game is Bank Holiday Monday. We're playing on the Saturday, which is a must-win game for under 18s, because if they win that, they pip Spurs to that Division League title. And considering they beat Spurs before this season a couple of times in the FA Youth Cup and in the league, it would be nice to go and do that. So if we beat Fulham on the weekend, they're in a good position. But it's a good experience in Dallas for them. Like I said, man, you've seen Mason Greenwood play well in this tournament. You've seen Saka play well in this tournament. We know Saka's a baller, but if any coach or senior coach didn't believe in Saka or didn't think he could do anything, they probably saw him and thought, wow. So it's a good indicator. Similar to some of the comments I said in regards to around the 15s. I mean, it's America, people. It doesn't matter. People are footballing mad. They're getting to see a different way of life. They're getting to play in a tournament, and it helps them and stuff, man. And at under 19s level, it's good. For me, I was looking at this as it would allow some of our young players to be first-year scholars under 18s next year, and possibly the ones that haven't got too much game time this year to shine and thrive. And I think over the course of 3 games, we did ourselves proud, man. Obviously, we didn't keep a clean sheet. We conceded a lot of goals, but we scored a lot of goals. Like the Toronto game, serious 6-5 thing, man. Like, I can't say his last name, but is it Stan? Stan scored a Stan chipped the keeper, I believe. Is it Flattery? I can never say your name, my guy. I need to hear that. I think it's an Irish last name. I need to hear that being said. But Stan's a baller. He chipped the keeper. Greenwood scored a lovely right foot finish in that game. Balogun done a madness in that game as well. Alfie Matthews, someone who I really back to get more game time next year as a second-year scholar. As a first year, hasn't got that much game. Took his opportunity. Obviously, you had Cotterill and you had Swanson that have got game time out there so far. Well, it's done now. Aziz played a lot of games, in my opinion, got a lot of game time. But I think Alfie Matthews took advantage of Coyle and John Jules and the players that are in the under 23s that are called upon at under 18s level, and possible players that are main starters at under 18s. I think he took advantage of them not being involved or flying, and he really put a good account of himself. He scored a couple of the goals, convincing penalty against Toronto. I think he's a very decent player. He can link up well. He's got good technical ability, decent with his back to goal. I saw him barge one you as well, and it looked like he loved it, man. I like that, man. He relishes them sort of things, like the roughness and toughness that comes with his position. I feel players like him took advantage. Obviously, Greenwood probably wouldn't have wanted to be there in the sense that he wants to try and kick on for 23s and first team, but obviously he would want to be there. But you get what I mean. I think he was impressive. I think Aziz was very decent in some of the games. I think I think Mizzy's Ogondo, I can never say his name. I saw him play at fullback and centre half, and I was very convinced with him as well. Now, there's a couple of players, I don't know their names, people, admittedly, but some of what appeared to me to be schoolboys based on what I was seeing. I've never seen your face before, so I'm assuming you're a schoolboy. Going to be first-year scholar next year. I was impressed, man, because everybody was comfortable to play at the ball at feet. Everybody wasn't afraid to have an effort. Whether we was winning, losing, or drawing in all games, I feel we had a good effort, man. I feel the tempos were good. I feel the players are going to learn a lot, because the Toronto game, I feel they played slightly different than the first game, but they were very positive. I feel Real Salt Lake were a bit more calculated than the other 2 opponents that we faced. So of course we're not going to play these opponents on a regular basis, but it's good to play people from different continents with possible different coaching philosophies and just ways of doing things, because it's always good to have a culture shock on a football field, to be fair with you, man. So yeah, it was decent, man, but unfortunately we couldn't win it in the Dallas Cup. We've had success in the 7-a-side tournament in Singapore. Couldn't win the Dallas Cup. Well, it is what it is. We go again, man, next year, I suppose. But for now, I've got nothing more to say. Just checking, yeah. Nothing else to say more on this. So I'm going to keep it pushing, people. Or moving, better yet. People, Deluded, thank you for watching and tuning in.